Moving on to our next segment, we have a panel discussion on logistics in the COVID era. I'd like to introduce you to our panel of speakers for today. We have Antonio Duran from Smart Logistics in Valencia, Spain, who I met at the Fruit Logistica in 2019 and is one of our founding members. We have Hari Narayan from the Transworld Group in Dubai. They have 6 offices registered with CCC from Dubai, Mumbai, New Jersey, Muscat, Doha, and Dammam, and in talks to register a 7th. Thank you for your trust and support in us. And finally, we have Nicha Ratanachinda of ProFreight Group from Bangkok, who has joined us this year and is a good friend of mine, an industry leader in Thailand. Good evening to you all. Thank you for volunteering and taking your time to participate. All right, let me jump straight into our questions. Some of the countries are seeing a 2nd and 3rd wave. So I'd like to know, how do you believe the Delta variant is affecting your business and the reopening of your country and the world in general? We can perhaps have, we can start with Antonio.
Hi guys, great to see you all. As everyone said, I wish we could meet all face to face, but this is the situation right now. Hopefully we will see each other soon with good food, as Mike said as well. I think that although we're seeing now better times in most countries with more vaccinated population and the contagion cases decreasing, we will have more years for the whole world to be at normality compared to 2019 and before that. I also think the situation has showed us how connected we really are and how really the globalization is a reality, and that something that happens on the other part of the world can affect us as well. Not only in the matter of health, but also we saw it in the shipping industry this year and last year, and the supply chains around the world. These 2 years, I think they have been quite an example with the pandemic first. Then we had the Ever Given incident. And then after that, it just seems it's been a continuous wave of events with different ports closing down due to mandatory quarantine and COVID infections. And then you add on the storms, the earthquakes. We've had a little bit of everything this year, really. And it has shown the vulnerability of the supply chain and why it's so important to have a strong and healthy network of collaborators around the world. And really to have success overcoming these challenges, you need the different players of the supply chain to work as a team and as close as they've ever been, whether it's another forwarder or a partner, an agent in another country, a member of CCC, or also the shipping line, the warehouse, the trucker. Every actor now has to show the importance of synergy among all actors in the supply chain.
Absolutely. Thanks. Thank you for that. Nisha, what is your take on it?
So I think with an increase of number of vaccinated travelers around the world, I think it's a good sign in reopening in many countries. And especially in my country, like Thailand, for my case, we'll be reopening to receive like more vaccinated travelers this coming October 2021 as well, as we will also promote our tourism sector, in which is the main income of our country. So maybe I could take one of an example referencing to the Young Entrepreneur Thai Chamber of Commerce, one of the network that I joined here in Thailand. So we foresee that people will travel with the idea of work anywhere, especially for like digital nomads. And, we have the urge to travel and explore, but I think it will be more like personalized travel plan with like SHA Plus, the hotel health and safety rules, and as well with the digital health pass everywhere around the world, I think. And in Thailand, with the network that I joined, like we promote this model called Happy Model. So we encourage like the travelers to live well, eat well, fit well, like yoga on the beach, and then also like give well, a bit of like social giving to the society. Like when the turtles come, we pick the garbage from the beach, something like this. We want to shape the travel to be more like quality travel and with sustainable tourism as well. So in which like we want to create like a standards to allow international travelers to be accepted with their stay in Thailand and also like in ASEAN countries as well. So I think I believe that the Delta variant will force and shape our societal norms to be more health concerned and more personalized in the way of we living. I believe that for travel, like for example, we go and visit agents earlier abroad, right? I believe that the travel will not be suspended forever, but however, it will come down to like an individual judgment, company rules, or like country restriction of what is at the moment considered as safety. Let's say we will visit like certain agent in one country. Is that country considered to be like green or red for our nationality? Shortest flight, shorter stay maybe, and the mode of travel as well, and the time, maybe private car or like eat in hotel and visit the office, but less interaction with the people, but continue to use like virtual meetings if your meeting may be long. This is something that if you have family in close contacts and you could be at risk of affected by the Delta variant. However, I can also see the vice versa, remote working. If you have less risks and you are an entrepreneur yourself, it could be a chance that you would go away for like a month, including a quarantine time in one country, and adopt the work anywhere, like remote working kind of thing. And maybe you could like develop like a serious project or like create your sandbox. And what we call here in Thailand, we have like Phuket sandbox, to create like a certain product with your agent or your partner. And of course, with your back office team become like very supportive and value driven to the customer. So I believe that there's something that we will, forming social connections remotely, going beyond downstream to build on meaningful connections.
Right.
Thank you.
Yeah, I guess it's about changing priorities. So the Delta variant and the virus itself forces us to rethink. Hari? What is your
to
take
all of you.
on it
Actually,
in Dubai?
Yeah, basically, this coronavirus or this pandemic has taught us a lot of things actually, which we never thought in our life, and the things has happened across the world. Let it be the business, let it be the economics, let it be the supply chain model, or let it be the health industry, what all happened up and down, as well as with the hospitality industry. With the reopening of things, a couple of things what I would like foresee is that first thing is that the business is going to improve. It's a cyclic effect. Basically, everything is interconnected and interdependent. So when the hospitality industry is getting back into the business, definitely the boom in the perishable business will also happen, which was actually on a it was on a slow pace as compared to what it was, because the demand slightly went down. Even though the movement was happening, the demand went down, but that demand will surge, especially in case of Dubai with the expo coming in and a lot of activities which is going to happen in another couple of years from down the line. The expo to be followed by the World Cup, which is going to happen in Qatar. It's a boom in this part of the world, and definitely this reopening will bring in a lot of business in for everyone in all the industry verticals. Plus, what I would say on the other side of it is that people will be very cautious when they spend the money too. So it depends upon how effectively all these solutions and how effectively we bring into the table of the consumers. It matters now. The future will totally depend upon like the efficiency, the cost efficiency versus the service what we provide. So it'll be a positive sign for the business. That's what I would say. And
Right.
Whatever said at the bottom line, like we have to be careful with what we do.
Right. Yeah. Thanks for your take, Hari. I mean, I also am extremely upbeat and positive about moving forward. We've already all seen signs of that. So, all right, that brings me to the next question on space. I mean, where this is something that the business is probably back, but how do we manage space? So along those lines, then my next question is, how do you manage the space in these times? Hari, maybe you want to just quickly start with it.
See, the space has been a constraint which was created, man-made. It was man-made, one way of looking into it. The other thing, it can be thought as like it has happened because of the scarcity of the equipment, the moving the equipment. Basically, it can be a ship, it can be containers, it can be the aircraft. Because if I speak from the air freight perspective, the entire global cargo movement is divided into four levels. It is around 63%, which moves, the shipment moves on the passenger belly of the aircraft before the pandemic. Around 20% plus it used to move on the cargo aircraft, followed by the charters. So on that way, on that division was happening in the industry, when there was a total space issue which came in with stoppage of the passenger aircraft, it really impacted. So definitely we found a way to overcome that on the air freight side by using the PF freighters, which was an innovation which happened during the COVID time. So such thing will continue. And the second thing is that the more the equipments, what it will be available, the grounded equipments, how we collective from these cold chain network also, we think together, and if we can capitalize on these things and we can provide a solution to the market, is definitely going to help us. On the other note, on the shipping industry, if you look into it, it is like there are two verticals, again, segments to be looked into it. If it's from the cold chain perspective, it's a reefer containers, it's totally a different ball game. It's the bottom line is that how we are going to get the space. So there is a mismatch overall, but it will be a challenge. But for sure, there will be a way out for this if we work together.
Yeah, I guess the emphasis is on collaboration to grow. Yeah, Nietzsche, how do you manage space in Thailand? You're on mute.
Okay, sorry. Yes, so I mean, it's very difficult, attempting to get a space for both like air and sea. But there's the project regarding the pandemic. ProFreight did this shipment with Thai fresh mango. I believe it is the full support of our national airline, Thailand, Thai Airways. We handled perishable shipment of majority the mango and other fruits for the exported. The shipment was from Bangkok, Thailand to Seoul, Korea. At that time, it was like beginning of March 2021, earlier this year, in which we all knew at that time the space was very difficult and the rate went like incredibly high. So my management of ProFreight group worked together with our team, were very supportive in working with us. They made a contract with Thai Airways, TG, which is our national airline. They were very supportive in working with us for reasonable transportation air freight charge. So therefore, we were able to charter the Boeing 777-300 and transport this premium sweet Thai mango around 20 tons per flight. And then we did about 13 flights in total. Sometimes we have more, commodities with the exporters. We also worked with one of the Korean-based freight forwarder who is in Thailand, who is very strong in the market. So we co-load with them, and with their great support, with match rate for our cargo to go with Air Asiana Airlines to get the next possible flight, which ETA is close to each other. So yeah, so that was like how we did during that time. And then I think we will try to attempt for something like this for our like seasonal fruits, Thai mango and also pineapple mangosteen and so on and so forth.
Right. Thanks for sharing that story. Quite interesting. 13 flights. Nice. Antonio, how do you manage space in Spain? You're on mute.
Perfect. Thank you, guys. All right. There's been a lot of things in this matter, but I'll try to be as brief as possible. The very first factor is it's a very obvious one, and it sounds very obvious, but which is having a better communication with the client regarding the planning and forecast of their shipments. Get more involved on their business, on the time frames, on the delivery deadlines, and understand more about the business and needs. And although this is a very obvious one, it doesn't happen too often, and we know, clients normally don't give us this kind of information. Either this could be a lack of planning or knowledge that can happen also from the forwarder side, not going the extra mile and asking the client to have this conversation. But most of the times, I think this is more on the client side. the clients, or most clients, have usually two of these. Either they simply do not have any planning and they don't really have a forecast or know what they're doing, which is very common. And it is not because it's a bad company, but because their sales and operations really go more on a day-to-day basis. And B, also clients have trust issues. And this is one I think is very common, really. Companies have been used for many years to have several forwarders and several shipping lines and logistics suppliers all lined up for them, ready to collaborate. But they know they can change of supplier at any time and squeeze you with the price. And really the relationships, at least here in Spain, was not really a one-to-one peer-to-peer relationships among forwarders and exporters and importers companies. And I think it's because of this relationship, they normally don't share this kind of information and go more on an operation by operation. But now that things are changing and service and trust are more important, as I said to my colleagues, service and trust are kings now. And the relationship client forwarder has evolved, and I think to a more leveled relationship. And this is why it's very important to have this supply chain forecast. And the second factor, as I said, is for us, at least here in Smart Logistics, is to have now more than ever, is very important to have a good network and good workflow among all the parties involved on a shipment. And I believe the forwarder is the main piece to achieve this harmony and synchrony in the operation. We are the ones connecting all the parts and making things work in a more effective and optimized way. And to achieve this, is important to have and develop long-term relationships and your collaborators with your partners. And yes, of course, include here the shipping lines that we normally see as the enemy. But I think that for us in Smart Logistics, we have been working for many years on our relationship with our partners and with the shipping lines. We normally choose 2 or 3 shipping lines per trade lane, and we try to develop business with them. So this has really given us a certain leverage with the shipping lines now that the space is tight and the equipment is scarce. We can always appeal to our long-term relationship, and that we have been partners for many years. And even in the difficult times when shipping lines were actually looking for cargo, we were there and we were giving them cargo. So now that the times and the space is more difficult, I think the long-term relationship wins. And this, of course, happens with the same. And I think this is why it's very important for us, Cold Chain Connect Network, because it's now it's more important than ever to have a crucial partner and trusted partner.
Right. It's all about the relationships, and that's where a network like ours comes into play.
Definitely, Melvin.
So we're almost out of time, but I have one final question. If you can all keep it down to perhaps 30 seconds. I know that as freight forwarders, we're amongst the last ones to adopt technology. So what new technologies do you think are coming about to disrupt the freight forwarding space? Antonio, if you can maybe quickly start, and just a quick 30 seconds to wrap it up.
I'll try to be very fast. Yes, I think on the technology edge, we're way behind other industries. I think that greener technologies will be a part in the future, and we will have to look for more sustainable ways for our industry, because the whole world will push us for that. And there are several interesting Internet of Things and cloud-based systems, blockchain. There will be a lot of interesting new technologies, and we should be able to adapt.
Ready for it. Sure.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing that. Nisha, you want to quickly take it away and tell us what you think is going to disrupt the freight forwarding space, if you can keep it brief?
Yes, I think there are 2 most important things. So, as we are, engaged with virtual meetings these days, individual level, I think we must invest for good equipment like smartphones, cameras, laptops, tablets, for yourself and your team. That is the foundation. But at corporate level, I agree with Antonio as well for the cloud. It's so important to keep all your data across all devices, and that's allow your team to collaborate. And one more thing that I believe will be, one of the things, which is the big data. So I think as a freight forwarder, we must create mobile application or web-based dashboard, or any software that allows you to be able to track the movement at real time. So yeah, and of course join a good network like CCC, which is very digitally driven. So yeah, that's my thought.
Yeah, Every time I hear big data, I want to run away. Big data is like the new thing, and everyone's talking about it, you know. So anyway, Hari, you want to take it away? Quick last 30 seconds as we
Yeah.
end the panel discussion. Go for it.
Digitization plays a vital role actually in our industry.
Right.
So, in nutshell, if I say, uh, to compare with the passenger as well as with the cargo, passenger they speak, cargo they don't speak. We act on behalf of cargo. So how we bring in the simplified process for our customers, the real-time visibility, what we give it to them on a click of the button, that is going to be the real world. That will be the future for the cargo industry. Let it be cold chain, let it be the hard freight, whatever the mode of the cargo we move on. So it is a real-time visibility matters, and how quickly and how easily they can access, let it be from the rate, quotation, status, invoicing, visibility on their SOA, that matters, that is the future. So it is a digitization that will play a vital role in future.
Great. Thank you, Hari, for your insight. And thank you to our panel speakers for taking part in our discussion tonight.